Now in example 1, we're given f of x is a piecewise linear function, and it looks like this. It goes from -4 down to -2, and then it has slope 1 from -2 to 2, and then it goes back down. Okay? And what we're asked to do is we're asked to transform this graph, the graph of y equals f of x, to each one of these functions, f of x plus 2 minus 1, f of negative x plus 2, and then 2 times f of x minus 1. So in this first case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the graph, the original graph in light blue. So this is the original f of x. And then I'm going to try and show you each step what you need to do. So because we have a plus 2 here, that means we want to shift to the left 2, because you want to go in the opposite direction of whatever the sign is. So we're going to shift every point here to the left 2. So now I'm going to have a graph that looks something like this. So you can see all I've done is shift every point 2 units to the left. So this light green graph that I've just drawn is y equals f of x plus 2. And now finally what I need to do is subtract 1, and that means that we need to subtract 1 from the green graph. So we're going to move everything down 1 unit. So I'm going to move this down, that down, that down, that down. They all move down 1 unit. Okay, so the graph should look something like this. And so this red graph is the graph of f of x plus 2 minus 1. And so now that I've drawn that, I can delete the green graph, and I can delete the blue graph. So this is the new graph is y equals f of x plus 2 minus 1. And if you want to keep the original blue graph on there, you can. What I would recommend doing is maybe drawing the first graph in pencil, and then whatever intermediate steps you want to draw, go ahead and do that, and at the very end, erase everything but the final answer. Okay. Now again, in the next graph we have, I'll draw f of x, which looks something like this. So that's y equals f of x. And now we want to do f of negative x plus 2. Well, the negative sign being inside of the graph, or inside of the parentheses, means we're going to reflect across the y-axis. So we're going to be taking this point and graphing it over here. So it's going to give us kind of the mirror image across the y-axis. So that's this point here, that point there. Okay, and so you should think of this as being reflecting that point there. This point's getting reflected over there. This point's getting reflected over there. And so the brown graph that I've drawn is y equals f of minus x. And now we need to add 2. So the plus 2 is going to ask us to shift everything up 2 units. So the final graph should look something like this. So this should be y equals f of minus x plus 2. And again, I'll delete the intermediate graph just to kind of clear things up. And so this blue graph was obtained from the original graph of f of x by reflecting across the y-axis and then moving everything up 2 units. So in words, I'd say like the steps were reflect across y-axis, then shift up by 2. The first graph was shift left 2 units and down 1 unit. Okay, and in this last one, we're going to, because there's a 2 out here in front of the f of x, we're going to make this a vertical stretch by 2 by a factor of 2, and then we're going to shift to the right 1 unit. Okay, so I'll start by graphing y equals f of x again. So we're going to stretch vertically 2 units. So that means that whatever my y value is, I'm going to multiply it by 2. So when my y value is 0, the new y value is still 0. When the blue y value is 2, the new y value is 4. When the little light blue y value was 1, the new y value is 2. Okay? So that's kind of this vertical stretching. And now we need to take this brown graph and shift it to the right. Shift to the right 1 unit, because you want to go the opposite direction of the sign. So now we're going to take these things and shift every point to the right 1 unit. So when I do that, I get the following graph. And again, it might be easier now to delete the brown graph. So you can see that the red graph is obtained from the blue graph by first stretching the blue graph vertically by a factor of 2 and then shifting to the right 1 unit.